as we continue to preach in the series in the light of the resurrection. And since Easter, we've been picking different people who somehow being impacted by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In other words, that the light of the resurrection brought them out of the darkness. Today I'm going to really share a very boring subject, that God is love. Everybody knows about that, you know? I think it's like, okay, I can bring anybody to you. You will do a preaching. You do a great thing about God is love, and we all know that. It's one of the greatest topics that Christian can talk about. But sometimes as human, we do not like it. Because sometimes it makes us sound like soft people who all the time talk about love, 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 love. We are not so strong and hard, and we are not practical all the time. Just this week, people who all the time just sell us a story about love. Maybe our personality, maybe our gender, maybe the way we're brought up to think about what love is and how a strong person should be and how a rational person should be. So when we talk about God's love, it sounds like a very simple message. But it's really a very hard practice. So when we talk about God as love, as it sounds very simple, but deeply is a very hard thing to investigate and see how people can still love and practice love in a way that's not matching their life experience. How people can still, even when they try to stop and say, if it was in my hand, I want to stop this practice of compassion and gentleness, because I've been hurt too much from this kind of naive Christian talk about being nice and loving and caring. But some people cannot stop that. It's not in their hand. It is God's gift. You are just a part of the river, and the water just come over you, and the love of God that overwhelm you and keep walking, and you cannot stop it. Even if you have a desire, if you have the madness, and if you have the feeling that it's not a good day, I don't want to be Christian today. This is not a good day I'm going to be anything else except to be Christian this day. And even when we decide to do that out of anger or hurt, we surprise ourselves that we still cannot stop practicing kindness. Then the question is, it's not me. If it was left in my hand, I am going to destroy the whole world. I am going to act like an angry person. I do not care about anybody else, even including sometimes my own self. But that's point the finger that said there are many different versions of love that we can see. But this kind of Christian love is a miracle by itself when people try to stop it, but they can't. The waves, it's so big because it's coming not from you. If it's just coming from you and me, we will be a poor human being because we will run out of kindness in a few days. We will burn the whole world out of anger in a few days. We will do horrible things in a few days. But because of God's love, He comes and calms us and recharges us with these things. As we see that as the writer of this gospel really is not living a good life. The writer of the first epistle of John, he's not living in a good context. Many times I hear many preachers or many Christians say, I wish I was there in the first century when Christ was there with His disciples and life was pure and everything was perfect and people getting along and I wish I was there. I think I would be a better Christian. Today life is so difficult. All this modern life is taken away from God. I wish I was there in this slow, normal, beautiful life. And this is a big lie. Because really in all human history, and all especially Christian history, with no perfect time. And I want to give you just a brief, if you want to hear, if you want to imagine a time that's happened around the time of Jesus Christ and a time that you want to live in. Here is just a short description of the image that was there. So you see that this is a group of people, 12 disciples, and a guy named Jesus Christ. They lived life. He picked them randomly from whatever, different careers, and they just somehow got together, thanks God, And then things got ups and downs, good days and bad days. And this guy suddenly was crucified. And we found out that he was killed because one of his disciples betrayed him. The other disciples denied him. And then we keep walking, and then we find the third disciples that will not believe. I have no idea about who this guy. I ate and drank, and we had good time. Unless if I touched him and in flesh, I will not believe in him. And then we hear the story about this favored disciples. There is one that we know that Christ picked his favorite. And we know this was a rumor, it was not true. But that's how everybody looked at the leaders. There is always people look at the leaders and they know the leaders will pick his favor. So there is always thought like, why this guy is his favorite? So when they sit together, what are they talking about? When they really are not listening and this guy is so close to him and they are whispering words in the ears, what kind of secret they are telling to each other? And out of that, the jealousy will start. And just they start to worry about, is this guy going to be the right hand of Jesus Christ? In the new kingdom, this guy is going to have more power. And then we have another stories about a woman that came into the scene. A woman with bad reputation named Mary Magdalene is going out and telling about Christ's resurrection. This is not a good news. And then you have just this guy that used to lead and tell them what to do. When they come and bring their question, their struggle, this guy, yes, even he told me he's resurrected, but practically his seat is empty. You can celebrate resurrection as much as you want. You can glorify the action of resurrection, but on the ground, the seat of whom we can go and ask and say, oh, Peter bothered me, or John just told me something wrong, or this guy is pulling me in a different direction, or this me telling me how much I should pay money or not. Suddenly, this leader is not there. That was a big vacuum and a big shocking for this group. And then the scene is not stopping there, And then suddenly, somehow, some of these leaders who were questioned, they came into the scene, and somehow Peter became one of them. And then people start to ask about, he does not really deserve that. He is the last one, should be a candidate to run this group. He should be the last one. He should be just happy that we accepted him to continue with us. That's too much. He should be just act as humble and always be in the last row of the church. He should not even come in the front. He should be just happy that we barely accepted him. So then they found him being in the role of the leadership and leading that. So there were many dynamic and many questions in this church. Even there are just still small things. Things even got worse when the church started to get bigger. Remember, don't worry about, sometimes you may complain about being a small church, but you can actually have a bigger problem when you get to be a bigger church. I mean, I'm not complaining that we wish we can be one day a bigger church, but there is always a pros and cons for anything. So as the church is getting bigger, there are many people coming from the Roman Empire, the Greeks, the Persian, the Egyptian, the Europeans. It's not only now a Jewish cult. It became a very kind of like global cult. So yes, it's very happy. The door is open. People are coming from everywhere. But people are not coming empty hands. People are not coming empty heads. People are coming with traditions, with ideas, how you should worship. We used to worship this God this way. We used to eat. We used to have sex in the temple. We used to have these things. And we want this to continue in this church. So also when you open your church, just be cautious about people are going to bring things that may bother you. And then you start now to have the idea, no, wait a minute, let's filter. We are coming, we are happy that we are open doors. Everybody welcome in. But then we find out, I think we're really crossing the lines now. There are some traditions and some ideas. One of these big ideas that we know that was the Docetism, that's a heresy that started around time of Jesus Christ, and I highlighted last week, but I'd like to bring it to your attention again today. Was this heresy was really solving the problem about Christ appearing. So here Mary Magdalene say, I saw Christ. Peter say, come, I saw Christ. So and then say like, but you guys thought, well, we didn't see it. So if you guys just keep it for yourself, but why can't I see him like you to believe in him? So then the heresy came actually try to help those who could not see Christ. The heresy is saying Christ from the beginning was not real flesh. He is like pretending. The image in front of you looks like a body, but really he's like a phantom self. Like if you go through him and you put your hand, there is no body there. He looks like a body. So the intention was to solve the problem and say, you don't have to see Christ. Christ is always there. He can come through behind doors. He can go through walls. He can do all of that. It's just you do not know Christ, because Christ from the beginning, he is different. He is divine, but he was not human. So this really this heresy takes over many people. So John lived long enough to see this heresy is growing. And then the church, that's why he started this part, started about the false prophets. And we see that here today, he talks in the beginning about be careful, there are false prophets. And he has very strong voice telling you, these false prophets, they tell you things, they do miracles, they do a lot of things that makes you an amazing. Do not just go simply because they do something to amaze you, just follow them. So he gave us the guidance. He said, examine them. Okay? But what if we find something that we believe in what they are doing is good for us? What is my fault, like the false, these prophets who teach us something that's not right? I have no idea. I'm not educated enough. I did not go to the school of Athens or Alexandria. I have no idea. I'm a simple-minded guy. I came, I listened to my preacher. I trust my preacher. Whatever he teaches me, I go home and say amen for whatever he said. So is it my fault that I'm a humble heart and simple mind? But he was trying to say through this, what is the solution? There is no perfect solution for any community that comes to this agreement. There is no perfect solution when people feel they want, no, my side is right and your side is wrong. There is no really perfect solution if you want to have the freedom of thinking and the freedom of speech. Of all of one here, each one of us start to write some statement and say, this is the only perfect true statement. We will find that we have, if we are maybe 40, we'll have a 40 different version of what a Presbyterian church should be. And we are living here in one church and one place. So with this kind of like really a lot of opinions in this church, he started to find maybe teaching is a good solution. Like if I find something is going on in a church, then I know like maybe I should preach about that to make people, teach people how to love each other, how to accept each other, you know. But teaching is not really the key. It's a helpful tool, but it's not the essential. So the writer itself is starting with teaching them, examine whoever talks, just listen carefully, have a critical mind, just try to analyze everything and just filter and find out what's really matching the Christian teaching and what's not. This level does not match everybody, because not everybody uses the same method. Not everybody is capable to analyze and have the critical mind. Then the writer of the first epistle was very smart to run to the eternal and to the deepest solution. And he said, what do we do about those people who disagree with us and they left the church? So now we're not talking about a church that's growing. We're talking about a church that's divided. So some people who believe like in the Sufism and other heresy, they actually disagree with the church and they walked out of the church. So who left in the church? They are not happy, right? There are a lot of bad mouth about who left and who stayed. The one stayed, that's the good one. The one left, they are the bad one. If you are on the side of the one who left, what's going? They are the bad one who wants to control the church and stayed in the church. And we are the good one that we left because we want to stay and continue pure and tell the truth. I do not know much about the history of this church, but I'm sure many churches went through this episode. And maybe some of you old enough to face and to remember moments of being united, but also moments of being just departing and leaving one community after another. So that was painful because the writer is trying to be telling the truth, but also he reminds himself, what kind of truth are you talking about? I think I'm telling the truth. The one that's left, they have the guts to leave because really they believe also they have the truth. Then we both have different truths here. So then it's another solution. What is uniting us even when we depart and we disagree and we have a very, very strong standing point? And then graciously and in a wonderful, he says, the underneath thing that make us Christian is the true love that keeps you, the glue that keeps us together even when we stay and even when we leave. When we agree and when we disagree. When we say something that may upset somebody, here is the question that we need to ask ourselves. Where is the passion coming from? When you really try to say something that sounds like against somebody or some business, ask yourself, what is your intention? You may sound like you are protecting Christianity and you are saying everything to protect the identity of the church. But only you and God knows where your motivation is coming from. Is it really for God's sake, for the love, or for yourself? To protect your own personal interest, position, whatever you have in a church or outside the church? Or to be in the center? Or it's actually you are not afraid to say the truth because it's coming from a loving place and not a hateful place. And this takes us to another place where the writer is putting a comparison between fear and love. I do not think that the writer is saying do not fear. Fear is part of our natural feelings. We should fear. Fear sometimes could be good. We should fear the Lord, as the Bible tells us sometimes. But he's saying there is a different way of if you are running out of fear or out of love. Fear is the layers of times when we think about what should we do. We encounter fear. But he's saying if your motivation, if your talk, if your actions are coming from fair peace personality or love-based personality. That's what he's talking about. And this is where love is coming from. It's coming not from you being smart and know a lot about counseling and how to play psychology with yourself. It's about just knowing that you are connected with God. So as we see that, he's saying like, as you see your brothers and sisters are leaving the church, yes, you disagree with them. Yes, you may call what they're saying is heresy. But you never forgot that they are called brothers and sisters. Even after all the nasty things they said about our religion, yes. Even after all the nasty things they said about us, yes. Because love does not belong to you. It's coming from a source that's bigger than you and me. Do not block the waves of love because it's God. Do not block them because you have a bad feeling about it. Do not block them because you want to stand and prove your point that you were right. What's more important for you? To be more right or to be a channel of love that can reflect God's love to others? What's more important to you, to be the louder voice and the clear voice among whoever is around you, or to be the touch of love and care? What's more important is to be you in the center, or God be in the center? One of the beautiful images that I read about this text was saying, like, if God is the source, what happened for us is like we are like this far away from each other. But when we come closer to God, if God is the center, we form this triangle, So we are like far away. The more we come closer in touch with God's love, we come closer. But who's uniting us on the top there? God. And that's what makes us connected, and we shape the triangle of love. It's not me, it's the one that's from above. It's the one that makes us united. I do not know how we can, all the church all the time talks about the unity and the church, and we sing about the church that is really built on Christ and all of this. And anybody who's not Christian will say, Christians, you are liars. You have different millions names, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Catholic, and even the Presbyterian. We have many Presbyterian even inside. And the Lutheran, you have many Lutheran. Any outsider will feel so confused about all these names and all this denomination. And we come together and we talk about unity. We act like liars when we talk about this unity that's not. What is the unity? You didn't even have unity in names. You did not have unity, but we talk about this unity in love. This is the glue. This is the hidden platform that makes me united. So I'm not lying when I talk about the unity, that I'm fully in unity with my brothers and sisters who are Christians with different names, with different clergy clothes, with different church way of setup, but does not sacrifice the idea of love and care. The love that stands, and we know that we are different. And we know that we do different things. But we should never be different. We should not sacrifice this idea about love. The love that's not just about being warm and being smiling. The love that makes you, even when you go home and broken and disagreeing with something. But you will never disagree. The love and respect to one another. And to share with you when I came to the United States, was my first call to this beloved church that I will never forget on the New England area. And when I went there, I was surprised. It's a church, white church, but really recently became very diverse, So, and I sit in the church and I have like at least 50 nationalities in front of me. Everybody with their nice, different flavor accent of English, the Africans, the Europeans, the Asian, the Americans. It was really very diverse church. And every time people will meet, oh, you are in this diverse church. And that's really everybody from different ethnicity. And also, yes, I love that. It makes me comfortable and we all look different. And difference became the common thing. It's not just one person is different. It's not just one family is different. We're all different, so it makes us all comfortable, including the pastor. But I used to say that really what's really touched my heart about this church, not the diversity in ethnicity, but really the diversity in the theological opinions. I used to sit on the Tuesday night, and we do teaching things, and it's more friendly one. And we sit and we talk about topics that's very debatable, about issues. What should we support as a church? And you see people sitting on the table, far right and far left, and as part of the East Coast personality, they will not be afraid to express themselves boldly, right? Just to say their feelings. They have no problem with you. So then I would be surprised and see the almost like feeling like I'm afraid that they're going to go into a fight or something, but really a very strong opinion. And I feel like, oh my gosh, how I'm going to run my business. These people are so far from each other. I feel like they're going physically to fight each other about what they support and what they not support. And then the next day we'll have the food shelves or like closing ministry and caring for those people. And then when you come and see them, how they work together with a love and a smile on their face, I could not believe that they were the people that they were fighting last night. And that, for me, was the true church of what church is. While everybody was celebrating the diversity in our racial background, but I felt really our biggest struggle is today we are divided about which topic should we support more, which group we support more. But then I say, like, what kind of agenda? You are worshiping the agenda, because when you talk about supporting a group or a cause, I hear it with no love. I hear anger. I hear like rejection. I hear you cannot listen to your brothers and sisters who are sitting next to you in the church. And you're trying to convince me this is a pure attitude for what you are calling for. I have no problem with to have a social action towards something or to really support something. But the way that shows that we are so angry, we are worshiping the agenda, and we forgot that why do you even support this agenda more than the others? And I ask that if you lose the platform, the invisible platform that makes you in the right place, is love. I may disagree with one of your cause that you are supporting. It may be not matching my way of bringing, my theology, my education, my heritage. But I will never throw the card of that I love you and I respect you. And this is the key that this writer is saying, that maybe teaching can help. Maybe knowledge can help. Maybe putting rules and knowing this is the dogma, this is our church, this is what we believe, this is our formation of faith. And we put things in order to help. But they are not really the deep root, our roots in love. As we see these people are living the church, can we let them leave the church and know that they are loved? We disagree, but you are loved. And the doors are open for everybody. And we know that people will know us not because we support one cause and we are against other, but people will know us because we still hold hands. We still do God's work with a warm heart. And not saying, no, you do not support my cause, you are not on my team. I call this is the sport. This is not Christianity. We moved our religion to be another sport. You are on my team or not. If you are on my team, you have to do everything I want. You have to cheer for me if you like it or not. You have to dance and jump up and down if you like it or not. This is not our religion. Our religion that makes us comfortable of whom we are. Makes me respected my tradition as a Presbyterian. But at the same time, do not see a threat when somebody else will call themselves Lutheran or Methodist or Catholic or whatever. Even they may not see me the same way. Even they will see me that I will never go to heaven. Maybe that's their belief, and I know that. But that's not where I stand. And where I stand, I am not just being full of myself and claiming to be a saint. But it is because I am overflowed by God's love that's coming from above. If it was for me, I would run away from all the humans. If it was for me, I will not come closer to any human. But only God's love that heals. Only God's love that brings us closer. And as we come closer to God naturally, we come close to each other. We will never run out of love and care if we continue to be connected with God. We'll never run out of love and care if we are humble to say that I totally disagree with you. I totally do not support what you are doing. I believe in the freedom of the speech. I believe in the freedom of thinking, but I do not believe in the freedom of hating each other. This is not my religion. I can buy everything. I can sacrifice everything. I can compromise everything. But I should not compromise love, because God is love. And if I compromise that, there is no hope for me. If I do not accept that, there is no way that the eternal hands will come and tap on my shoulders and keep telling me to not give up. Stand up. There is always a second chance. There is always a way out. There is a way for forgiveness. And as I forgive you, go and do that to others. As we see that Christ is bringing this love that say, do not be hypocritic. Do not talk about love and you cannot just stand each other. And as he brings this example about how can you love your brother that you see each other, you see every day. You can touch him, you can feel him, you can hear him. And you have no idea about who God is. Somebody told you about who God is. It's this invisible, faraway being. So do not be hypocritic and be honest. So your love to other people showing that the river of love that's coming from above is running through you. Any time that you cannot practice that, you are putting doubt on yourself. Do you really belong to God? Do you really blend in God's? This is the message for all of us today, to know that we are not alone. And the love of God is simple and is here and is the only way to keep us together until we meet the Lord in heaven. Amen.
If you have prayers or concerns this morning, I'm going to ask Lauren if he will take the mic up.